Sam, way back in January, Netflix released a movie called The Rip, a gritty little police action thriller from Joe Carnahan, starring Ben Affleck and Matt Damon in the lead roles. Releasing to above average reviews and a mighty impressive 41.6 million views in its opening weekend, it was an out and out success for the streaming giant. Today, though, it's not quote unquote box office that we're interested in talking about, it's the Netflix deal that the film and its producers managed to secure. Are you intrigued? Well, grab a cup of tea and let's talk about The Rip and its incredible Netflix deal. Sam, have you seen the movie?
No, but we talked about it in great deal, I think, at the start of the year regarding, was it the Deep Dive 5?
Was it still Deep Dive 5 back then? Possibly.
Was it even for that? No, that was for The Accountant 2.
So why were we talking about The Rip? But unless we were worried about what The Rip was going to look like going into January. Was January released on Netflix? Of course it was going to be a bit of a...
I liked the promotion because of Ben Affleck and Matt Damon bromancing a lot, which is always good fun. Yeah. They did talk about, what the audience wants from a film, and how the film industry can bring it to the audience. Yeah, which does that play a part in this conversation?
It does a little bit, actually. I suppose there's like little elements to it, but I mean, I actually watched this over the weekend. I was doing a bit of catch up on films that I'd missed, and The Rip was one of them. And it intrigued me for that very reason. I want to see the bromance on screen. I just watched Dogma for our last Such a Ranker, and it was really fun just kind of going back and just kind of rewatching that stuff. So I rewatched it. Plot very simple. It's like a traditional Joe Carnahan. He just goes out and does like a little police story. It's very simple, by the numbers type thing. The thing it does very well is for about 2/3 of the movie, there's this really cool like paranoia plot of like who's the villain, and they do it really well. Okay. Really, really well. So it's got Matt Damon and it's got Stephen Ewan in it as well.
Yeah.
Cole Chandler's in it as well. And it's got, I can't remember her name, but it's the girl who was in One Battle After Another. It was DiCaprio's wife in it. I can't remember her name.
Can't remember.
But she's in it. And also there's a girl from the Paris Chatain and stuff like that. She's in one of the small stories.
Good cast then.
It's an amazing cast. Small cast, but it really works well. And it's got like 2/3 of it is kind of a really cool like plot, whodunit plot, and then it kind of falls away a little bit as it then goes into kind of like action territory. But otherwise, really good watch. Enjoyed it. Probably one of the best things that I've seen out on Netflix. Really, really good. But anyway, I was doing some reading up about this after, and I found out Hollywood Reporter posted about this. It's linked to a New York Times report and so on and so forth. It has a very interesting production story. So Ben Affleck, Matt Damon own a production house called Artist Equity. Mm-hmm. And they're basically known as almost like an ethical production company. But their main aim is if the film does really well, it shouldn't just be the top tier of people that receive bonuses off the back of it. It should be the whole cast and crew. So I'd say it's one of the first deals of its kind because they did something similar for Air. But that's for a cinema release. This is the first one with a streaming giant involved, and they basically signed a deal with Netflix so that the 1,200 people who are involved in making this film would see a one-time bonus if the film met performance expectations. So with an opening weekend of like 41.6 million, that's pretty bloody good, even for a Netflix movie. So in a situation like this, Netflix would then pay out a performance bonus, and that bonus is then shared amongst 1,200 people that did the film, rather than just to Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. It's a kind of like a first of its kind of deal like this, because we've seen back ends from box office because it's actually physically generating cash. Whereas for Netflix, where you've got its viewers, it's a different kettle of fish. But considering that now Netflix has like ad-based revenue and so on and so forth, back end is essentially earnings from high viewership of things that are doing well that weekend. So something like on an ad-based revenue Netflix, 41.6 million views is an insane advertising plug for Netflix. You could just sell that space and it would sell itself, you know? So in terms of deals for Netflix, deals in general, this seems like a really good thing, like for the industry, like a really healthy thing. Had you heard of it before?
I'd never. Nothing like this has happened before. Is it just because this is something new for streaming?
This is new, particularly for streaming, but until this point, the company that they've got is Artist Equity, right? And so this is what they're kind of priding themselves on. And they did something similar for Air.
Yeah.
But I think where they didn't make such a big song and dance about Air is because I think Air had a cinema release.
Yeah.
Or at least some element of cinema release. So there was still. The difference is that if it did well, it probably got back end from the performance revenue, and it was probably shared to a certain extent. It was like phase 1, but this is the first phase 2, which was a strict streaming movie based on viewership and performance in a space that doesn't typically earn money. That then they earn some back end off the back of it. Well, hopefully they earn some back end off the back of it. I don't know. I haven't followed up on the story enough to do that, but I just thought really cool story, like from the industry,
refreshing.
From two. Actors not height of their career, but have always been on the top of the mountain in terms of stars and Hollywood stardom.
Well, are they allowed to do this in a way?
I mean, it's their company.
Because in the sense of like, you'd like to think this would be like a industry standard for the future, but is it just because it's them two and they're already kind of top of the mountain? Is this more a exception?
Yeah, I mean, you could arguably say that, but then at the same time, they could also then drive a lot more. If you've got then other like-minded creators, for instance, that do something similar, like you could imagine, say, someone like Reese Witherspoon doing something like this. She's got her studios and stuff like that, and most like big names in the industry are moving towards different forms of revenue when they get past their prime and the roles are kind of drying up a little bit. They need stuff to fall back on. So pretty much everyone has a production house in some capacity now. Is this this going to be something moving forward? Like you can almost imagine, given all the stuff, for instance, that Henry Cavill had with The Witcher, could you imagine him setting up something like this along the lines of, well, as long as like he was really into the lore and making sure that they stuck to the word of the writer of the Witcher stuff, could he set up like a deal so that he gets more dividends whenever, depending on performance and stuff like that? Like, could this have more of an influence than just the cast and crew of the movie? Could it be the writers? Could it be the source material, the inspiration from? Could they all start to see back ends from this?
Yeah.
It's a really it's an interesting concept. Why do you think it's taken so long for something like this, for a deal like this to kind of kick in?
Probably because the industry has gone through so many monumental changes, particularly because of COVID.
Yeah.
I think they've got to try and find people to like protect sort of like the whole structure of a film crew, and not because this is just like anything. Everyone just immediately thinks of like the top guys.
Yeah.
But it takes a lot of people to do this kind of thing. And if Ben Affleck and Matt Damon have found a way, again, I can't imagine this would become like a every film situation.
Yeah.
But if they can set some kind of tone with this, it might actually bring a lot of good feel back to Hollywood after a decade kind of defined by negativity, to say the least.
Yeah.
Particularly on like a financial standpoint. It's probably clever for them because they know that as they're aging stars, Ben Affleck with The Accountant 2, that was obviously a bit of a flop, but it's a different ball game with streaming.
Yeah. I think that's also why this exists, right? Like it is a completely different ball game. Like the back end for historic or current film trends, the back end is based on actual dollars made at box office, and therefore back end, which is traditionally known as points. You get like production points, and that equates to a certain percentage of a film or percentage of box office or whatever. That type of thing normally only benefits the top. So that's why you would normally see a lot of actors as producers or executive producers. That normally indicates that they've got more stake in the game.
Yeah, that's essentially what Clint Eastwood did with Malpaso.
Exactly. And anyone who's on a TV show longer than 3 seasons becomes it's that type of logic. So you get more of the pie, if that, but it means that your status and you have to change in terms of then what you get paid for. So streaming changed everything fundamentally because it's on viewership now. It's eyes on the prize rather than how much this is generating at the cinema. So a back-end deal, for instance, is really fascinating. How do you sign that up if there's no revenue?
Yeah.
But I suppose now, because there's ad-tier revenues, that creates more opportunities for back-end, because then all of a sudden your back-end is, Microsoft have put an advert in this rather than Bill's Bookshop, right? you know, like a little local place that, you know, it's then targeted because no one's actually watching it anymore, you know.
So essentially, is this? I mean, people's idea of streaming was to get away from traditional viewing methods, and it has just essentially been like
it's all gone back to traditional viewing methods.
We've just reverted back. It's just now through the internet.
Yeah,
it's fascinating. It's almost like you can't have it all good for too long.
Yeah,
you know, eventually greed. Well, I wouldn't necessarily call it always greed, but like, you know, money dictates it all, really.
Yeah. And it's funny how all these streaming services are starting to get like kind of versions of what was on free TV.
Yeah.
Like I noticed because of the World Cup, there's now a football podcast that's now a TV show on Netflix.
Yeah.
And obviously you've got Amazon that's got sport, and well, most of them have got sport in some capacity now. So in a weird way, they're just. It wouldn't surprise me if soon. Do you remember when like Netflix had that like surprise me button or Netflix button, where it basically just created a TV channel? It wouldn't surprise me if soon we have a TV channel where it'd be like between 4 and 5 is Netflix.
Streaming, I mean, they are going towards podcasts as like one of their like main attractions. I mean, Spotify have bought in the last 5 to 10 years Joe Rogan and The Ringer. Netflix have invested heavily also in The Ringer, actually, and obviously for the World Cup, the Rest is Football podcast. So
and that's got to be their home now, right? That's not a limited time run. I imagine that's going to be like a thing now that Netflix has.
Oh, I can't imagine it wouldn't be.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it gets a lot of numbers.
Yeah.
And they love their numbers.
It's Gary Lineker's show, isn't it? So
Gary Lineker's show,
money, and it's like Rest is Politics will probably go over there. The rest is, you know,
it
wouldn't surprise me if all of his podcast production.
Well, people like that, they've really seen where the wind is blowing.
Yeah.
And Goalhanger Productions or Goalhanger Podcast, I mean that's Gary Lineker's company.
Okay.
He's got his finger in like 400 pies now.
Yeah.
And I think with streaming, that is kind of the way it's going. I think films are one thing, and obviously we've discovered that The Rip is a success.
Yeah. Do you think a deal like this is a good replacement for box office backend? Box office.
At least it's something.
Something didn't exist
because there was no real indicator of the success of a film.
Yeah,
really.
According to the article that I read as well, is that everything before this point, Netflix paid upright for whatever it was, a flat fee done.
Yeah,
and then they got it. So this now is more typical of your traditional box office. Yeah. And
I don't think, for example, that Ben Affleck and Matt Damon will forever do things on like streaming.
Yeah,
I think they're experimenting.
Yeah, absolutely.
They've always been sort of people who experiment with new technologies, new everything.
Yeah. But I suppose it's just a new finance model, isn't it? That should a streamer, because they're always going to have everyone bidding on their movies, and then if they're going to go down a theatrical release or something like that, you just revert back to the traditional model in the same way. But then if you're going streaming, then they offer this contract instead. It's either contract A or contract B, depending on who it is who's bought it. Right. So there'll always be an upfront cost of this stuff, but at the same time, it's just a way to get back end. Right, because most people just sign away their movie and then that's it. It's on Netflix. Do you think other streamers will do something similar? So do you reckon, say, something like Disney would end up doing a similar thing?
Oh, certainly.
But then saying that Disney do pretty much a cinema. They're very in-house. They're very siloed, right?
Yeah.
They are. I think they understand that cinema releases earn you your production budget back, and streaming gives you your towel.
Well, Disney, I mean, they've got so much legacy products, legacy stuff that they can churn that out forever.
Yeah.
Where obviously it's harder for like with Netflix and Amazon to create their own IPs.
Yeah.
So I suppose they look for other avenues to compete.
Yeah.
But I think something like Disney Plus that will be a treasure trove of films, because obviously it's a century-old company.
Yeah.
So it's a different kettle of fish with a company like Disney.
Absolutely.
Paramount would be the interesting one, because Paramount are they're kind of stuck between the two.
Yeah.
Because Paramount is a legacy company, but they're going a completely different way under their new ownership. They've got some like crazy ideas. I can't think of them on the top of my head, but I think a lot of it involves like TikTok and short form media.
Oh wow!
So I think they're trying to like attract more to the next generation, like a younger generation.
Something that everybody hasn't quite managed to do yet.
Yeah, but it's all experimenting.
Absolutely. Cool. Anyway, that's kind of it for today. That's our cup of tea. My cup's empty. I don't know about yours, but let us know what you think. Do you think that this is a good thing for the industry, or do you think there's underlying things here that we've not, underlying problems, for instance, that we've not managed to navigate in this quick chat? Anyway, let us know in the comments down below. Otherwise, take care and we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.